Now, for number 8, I've actually prepared a bit of a crude audio clip. So,
This hand of mine glows with an awesome power! Its burning grip tells me to defeat you! Take this, my love, my anger, and all of my sorrow! Shining Finger Sword! Go, go, go!
it's Kashu Domon from G Gundam. When I first saw G Gundam, I really hated it. And honestly, most of the grievances I had against it are still present. Having the entire storyline be some kind of international tournament is lame. The characters and their giant robots are so stereotypical of their respective countries, it's often flat out racist. The Mexican pilot uses a robot called Tequila Gundam. It wears a sombrero. What the hell? And while some of the ridiculous martial arts moves they use are passable when it's humans, it's just so much sillier to see a giant robot giving off a flurry of blurred punches in an animation loop. However, when I actually sat down and just watched the show, beginning to end, following the plot, I managed to overlook all of that, because Domon was just that damned cool. He's kind of cliched and unoriginal. He's a talented martial artist out for revenge against his brother in a robot fueled by rage. But when I watched G Gundam, I didn't care that it was unoriginal. It just sucked me in. I mean, I'm a sucker for dramatic speeches and elaborate attacks, and G Gundam is a goldmine for that sort of thing. And every special attack Domon uses comes with its own elaborate speech, which should give the opponent ample time to counterattack, but they don't. I guess they're just too transfixed by the awesomeness, just like the rest of us. However, being obsessed with vengeance does take its toll on Domon as a character. You don't get to see him loosen up and just relax, like ever. Being in badass mode all the time really wears it down, so Domon can't rank any higher on this list. Number 7 is Major Kusanagi Makoto from Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. Now, this may come as a shock to some people, but having seen both Ghost in the Shell and Ghost in the Shell 2, I wasn't terribly impressed by these famous, iconic films. The Standalone Complex series, however, damn, that was cool, and the Major is the coolest of the cool. In a cyberpunk future, Section 9 is a special police force who deals mostly with the variety of hackers. Now, in an age teeming with robots, where everyone's brain is cybernetically enhanced and can plug into the internet, hackers can cause some real damage. And the Major is kind of in charge of Section 9. She does have a boss, but he's not like a frontline agent. He's more of an overseer and handles some of the more political aspects with the higher-ups and working out jurisdiction and that kind of thing. She's a very good hacker herself, one of the best. They do occasionally run into better hackers, but not many. She's also got a top-of-the-line prosthetic body for combat situations, and she's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, ranged weapons, whatever. She's also got this camouflage or invisibility mode, which is just really cool. Now, like Dee, the Major draws most of her badassness from a quiet professionalism and the sense she always gives that she's in control of the situation. She gets a little more expressive than Dee, more likely to raise her voice and bark orders, but that's kind of to be expected based on her position. It doesn't make her feel out of control. She's just, pulling rank and stuff. Also, the Major has a sense of humor, and she can be warm and friendly when she's not too busy being extremely badass. So that's nice. I gotta say, her outfit in the first season of SAC was not that conducive to badass. I mean, it's not like she was wearing high heels. The outfit was perfectly functional, but it went out of its way to show off her figure, which isn't that impressive anyway, and that doesn't really fit her character. The ensemble she donned in Second Gig was actually less functional, but still much improved. Are trench coats ever not awesome? Still, whatever she was wearing, it didn't prevent her from taking names, hacking brains, and kicking ass. And getting to see her human side makes it all the more awesome when she unleashes her own brand of cybernetically enhanced awesome. Number 6, Guts from Berserk. Yeah, I know what I said in the intro, and while I prefer the archetype Griffith represents, Griffith isn't the best example of it. After Gus defeats him later on in the series, Griffith has something of a breakdown, and the way he loses control of Guts and the situation and himself just really drags him down. Guts, on the other hand, is 150% testosterone. He doesn't even really do all that much aside from kick lots of ass, but man, he kicks lots of ass. In the very first episode, he blows a hole in a giant cobra demon with a cannon built into his prosthetic hand, cuts its head off, and then unloads crossbow bolts into its still living face. That alone probably earns him a place on this list, but then we delve into his past and see that he survived his mother's death while he was still in the womb and was born from a freaking corpse. As a teenager, he took down a warrior famed for slaying 30 men. As an adult, Guts tops that feat by a long shot, slaying 100 enemy soldiers in one night all by himself. Even when Guts gets his ass kicked, you have to admire his sheer tenacity and, well, guts. He takes Griffith on in a rematch before his wounds from the previous fight have even healed. He takes on a gigantic demon that's wiped out nearly his entire squad. And in the final episode, faced with a horde of demons summoned to brutally kill him and every member of the Band of the Hawk, Guts kills a fair number of them, even breaking off one demon's horn to use it as a sword. How awesome is that? And when one of them bites down on his hand to trap him, rather than remain trapped by it, he cuts off his own hand. You do not mess with Guts. Number 5, Vicious from Cowboy Bebop. I wanted to put Spike on this list, I really did. But since I said only one per show, well, Vicious just barely edges out Spike. I think it's because when I last watched them fight, Vicious truly made me believe that a sword could fight on even footing with a gun. I mean, it's not like they made Spike look like a shrieking incompetent or anything. He was really good. But Vicious was also really good, and he managed to stay in motion, be a hard target when he was out of range, and then get in close enough where the gun lost a lot of its advantage. And then you have gunmen who aren't up to Spike's level, and Vicious just completely massacres them. Also, Vicious doesn't show up all that often. He doesn't get a lot of screen time. That may sound like it would take away from him, but I think overexposure would drag him down. Instead, he gets to show up in a few key episodes, completely steal the show, and then leave you eager for the next time you get to see him. Each appearance is allowed to leave such a massive impression on the viewer, it's just great. And then, the name. Yes, it's kind of silly. Who names a kid Vicious? But it's also pretty badass. It says everything you need to know about the guy. He's not really a complex character. He doesn't really have any redeeming qualities. His backstory does have a bit of depth, but not too much. It's not too elaborate. He's simple, he's iconic, he's vicious. Okay, gonna stop this segment now and tune in for the final 4, if you're even still watching.